We have a painful topic to discuss tonight: sexual abuse of children.
And a Norfolk woman is pulling the covers off what she describes as generational sexual abuse that threatens to damage entire families. 10 Your Side's Regina Mobley joins us with more tonight. Regina.
Tom and Lena, we have an important phone number for you at the end of this story. First, Paulette Livingston, in her new book titled Yes, Ma'am, shares disturbing details about members of her own family. 10 on Your Side will not reveal most of the names because many of the perpetrators are also victims. This was a walk back in time toward the 800 block of Mariner Street in Norfolk for 57-year-old Paulette Livingston. Back in the early 70s in Tidewater Park, when the bell tolled 9 p.m. at a nearby church, for most children, it was time for bed. But for little Paulette, it was time for the sleepwalking monster.
He would come crawl in the middle of the night and just fondle on me. He would just rub on all my private parts. He did that for years before he upgraded.
In 2015, 10 on Your Side met with Livingston the night a close family member was murdered on Rugby Street in Norfolk.
I see him on the floor, and he wasn't moving. My was in the living room on the floor, dead.
He had been stabbed
17 times.
8 years later, Livingston revealed the murder victim, who was 2 years older than Livingston, was the sleepwalking monster on Mariner Street. Was he the only person who molested you?
No, my uncle did too, and my cousin.
And, says Livingston, that uncle also molested the cousin, and that cousin later molested her and others, including the Rugby Street murder victim. 10 on Your Side is withholding the name of the cousin, who is now in his 60s. He raped you, and while raping you, he motioned with the knife.
Yeah, he had the knife. Yeah, he motioned, so he gonna stab me if I ever tell it. And he put the gun to my head, and he put the gun in my mouth.
And you're 8 years old?
I'm 8 years old. Livingston
believes a dispute that led to the Rugby Street murder is connected to incest that occurred decades ago.
I think we confronted him about what he did to him as a child, and always told us he's gonna stab us to death, and he did it.
Could you count the number of times you were molested, raped, abused?
300? It was often.
Little Paulette carried to school pencils, paper, and homework assignments, but she also carried the pain of 8 years of abuse that was inflicted by 3 relatives.
I act out because I would just had gotten molested or stayed up all night trying to get through the night.
Decades later, Livingston acted out the pain in a YouTube video titled Bearing the Pain. The pain that burns in Livingston represents a few frames of a horror story that is unfolding in the African American community.
The sad part about it, sometimes parents turn a blind eye to the abuse that's going on in our families.
And that, says Livingston, is what happened on Mariner Street.
And someone in my house, one day I was being molested, they opened up the door and shut the door back.
For Livingston, the door is closed no more. If you are the victim of sexual abuse, reach out to the National Sexual Assault Hotline. That number, 800-656-HOPE or 4673. I have more on Paulette Livingston's story, and we'll also put this number on wavy.com. Regina Mobley, 10 on Your Side.